My shift ends at 4 a.m., but I don't leave until nearly 6. Another code blue, another family sobbing in the hallway, another stack of discharge paperwork with my name scribbled at the bottom because someone else clocked out early. By the time I get home, the sun is rising, and my phone has 17 unread texts. Most are from my mom. The rest are from my sister Kayla. There's one from Derek, her husband, which I already know I shouldn't open. His messages are always either jokes that aren't funny or demands disguised as questions. I stare at them without unlocking the screen. I already know what they say. We need to borrow your card again, just for a few days. We're still waiting on the refund from Derek's canceled flight. Mom said she called you twice. She's trying to book the Airbnb before it sells out. Flights are $1,200 each, my mom says in a voicemail, like she's reading a weather report. But it's business class, Alex. Your sister has back problems, and your father can't fly coach anymore. I haven't responded to any of them. I just go straight to the shower, let the water scald my skin for 25 minutes, and lie on the bathroom floor with a towel over my face. It's not the money that hurts. It's that no one even bothers pretending anymore. There's no please. No thank you. No acknowledgement that I haven't taken a vacation in 6 years, or that I sometimes pick up extra shifts just to cover the overdraft fees they cause. When I bring it up, when I suggest maybe they could pay me back, or maybe just ask before using the card, my mom's voice goes cold. Family doesn't keep score, Alex. But they do. Just not in the way I do. They keep score when I'm not available to help Kayla with the kids. When I don't attend every birthday dinner or baby shower. When I miss a phone call because I'm elbow deep in someone's chest cavity trying to restart a heartbeat. That's when I'm selfish. That's when I'm ungrateful. That's when they remind me, like a script, everything we've done for you. As if raising me was a favor I can never fully repay. One night, I caught Kayla using my card for Amazon purchases. I changed the password. The next day, she showed up at my apartment with tears in her eyes, holding her toddler in one arm and a Starbucks in the other. I just needed diapers, Alex. You think I'm stealing from you? I gave her the new login. She ordered an espresso machine and 2 swimsuits. I told myself, next time, I'll say no. Next time, I'll mean it. But that was 6 months ago. And now, apparently, they're going to Hawaii. I found out about the Hawaii trip the same way I find out most things in my family, by accident. Kayla posted a photo on her Instagram story, not realizing I could still see it. She must have forgotten to block me from this one. It was a boomerang, clinking champagne glasses in an airport lounge. Caption: Aloha baby, hibiscus airplane. I watched it loop 3 times before my stomach caught up to what my brain already knew. I checked my email. There it was, an alert from my credit card company 2 days ago. $4, 913. 82 spent at Hawaiian Airlines. Flagged as potential fraud. I had missed the alert during my last double shift. I stared at the message like it was in another language. They didn't just use my card. They booked business class. I didn't call them. I didn't text. I didn't cry. I just closed the email and made 2 calls. One to my credit card company, to dispute the charge and lock the account. The second to the hospital. I volunteered for an extra weekend shift. If I wasn't going to Hawaii, I might as well make rent. Later that evening, the first voicemail came in. My mom's voice, strained and forced casual. Hey honey, hope your shift went okay. Quick thing. We had to use your card for a little flight mix-up. Derek's points didn't go through or something. But we'll pay you back once we get the Airbnb refund, okay? Love you. Then Kayla, less apologetic. You seriously reported the charges? Are you kidding me? Do you even know how embarrassing that was a check-in? And Derek, of course. You better fix this. My kids are crying right now because of you. You're punishing them for what? We deserve this trip. I didn't answer. I didn't respond. The part that stung the most wasn't the money. It was that they hadn't even invited me. Not even as an afterthought. My sister posted more pictures that week. Her on a boat, in a white bikini, holding a cocktail. My parents under a palm tree. Derek shirtless on a jet ski. Each one with captions like, family time is the best time. Nothing like a well-deserved break with your favorite people. Grateful for these memories. Not once did they ask how I was. If I had groceries. If I'd gotten home safe after my night shifts. If I was lonely. They'd taken everything they could from me, and when I finally cut off the faucet, their reaction wasn't guilt. It was rage, as if I had no right to stop them, as if they were the victims. That weekend, I sat alone in my apartment eating cereal for dinner and rereading my lease to see if I could afford to move somewhere further away. I ran the numbers. It would be tight, but doable if I stopped covering my dad's car insurance and canceled the family phone plan I'd been paying for since I was 23. I drafted a text. Simple, clear. I'm taking some space for a while. Please don't contact me unless it's an emergency. I stared at it for an hour. Then I pressed send. And for the first time in years, I turned my phone off. The silence lasted 5 days. Not even 24 hours into it, I started second-guessing everything. I kept waiting for the guilt to claw its way back up my throat, to tell me I was being dramatic, selfish, cold. But it never came. What came instead were memories, ones I hadn't let myself sit with in years. Like the time I missed prom because Kayla's car broke down and she needed me to take her to work. Or when I canceled my spring break trip junior year because my parents couldn't cover the mortgage and asked if I could help out, just this once. Or when I took out a private loan for nursing school even though I had a partial scholarship, because my dad said co-signing for me would hurt his credit. At the time, I told myself that was love. Now I know it was a contract I never signed. Day 6, the group chat I'd been removed from suddenly lit up. My cousin Danielle sent me screenshots. My mom had posted a message. Some people are so ungrateful. After everything we've sacrificed, all we ask is for a little help, and we get betrayal in return. Family doesn't mean anything to some people. No names, of course, but everyone knew. Then came the texts. Kayla, you turned your back on us. I hope you're happy with your little boundaries. You abandoned your family for what, some money? Derek, if you want to act like you're better than us, go ahead. Just remember who wiped your tears when your ex dumped you. You're not as strong as you think. My dad didn't say anything. He never does. He's the kind of man who disappears when things get hard, then shows up later like nothing happened. He calls it keeping the peace. I call it being a coward. By week 2, I deleted their numbers from my favorites and moved the group chat to archived. It wasn't enough to block them. I needed to erase the muscle memory. I started leaving my phone at home when I went on walks. Picked up extra shifts at a different hospital across town where nobody knew my family. I slept a little better, ate real food, sat in the park, and people watched without checking if anyone needed me. That's when Marissa called. I hadn't heard her voice in 3 years, Derek's ex-wife. The one everyone pretended never existed after the divorce. She sounded nervous. Careful. Hey, Alex. I know this is out of the blue, but I think you deserve to know what's really going on. She told me Derek had been gambling. Not casually. Not a little. She'd found fake business receipts, secret accounts, loans taken out in his parents' names. She tried to tell my family back then, she said, but they called her bitter, a liar, a gold digger. She left to protect her own sanity. But now that my name was being dragged into their mess, she couldn't stay quiet. He used your card before, she said. A lot more than you think. Your parents covered for him. I didn't say anything for a while. Just sat on the floor and let her words sink into the cracks that had already started to split me open. I'm sorry, she said. I know what it's like to love people who see you as a utility. After we hung up, I dug through old bank statements. And she was right. Charges I never made. Withdrawals I couldn't explain. Payments that had quietly disappeared. And no one ever said a word. They hadn't just taken my money. They'd taken my trust. And sold it for first-class tickets to paradise. I didn't cry. I thought I would. But what I felt was colder than anger and deeper than sadness. It was clarity. I spent the next week combing through every bank statement from the last 5 years. I cross-referenced charges with text messages, emails, and calendar entries. It was like auditing a life I hadn't realized was under investigation. There it was. $350 at Best Buy, the same weekend Derek couldn't make rent. $800 transferred to my parents' account the day after Kayla said she needed a little help with daycare. $1,200 spent at a spa I've never stepped foot in, the day before their anniversary trip. Every time they said, we'll pay you back, they never did. Every time they said it's just for now, it wasn't. The total came to $18,462. 39. I made a spreadsheet. Labeled every row. Added dates. Comments. Screenshots for proof. I even attached copies of the text messages where they admitted to borrowing. Then I wrote a letter. Not a rant. Not an emotional plea. Just a clean, polite invoice. Subject line. Reimbursement for outstanding personal expenses. Body. Hi all. Attached is a detailed account of funds borrowed from me over the last 5 years, either directly or through unauthorized use of my accounts. I'm formally requesting repayment in full within 90 days. If I don't receive communication regarding a repayment plan, I will consider it a refusal to repay. This message is not intended to start a fight, only to bring clarity and closure. Thank you. I CC'd all of them, even my dad, who pretends not to have an email address. I hit send, and then I turned off all notifications. The fallout was predictable. Kayla blew up first. Are you serious? You're charging your own family? What's wrong with you? Wow. Guess we know where we stand now. Hope your little spreadsheet keeps you warm at night. Then my mom. After all we sacrificed for you. We're your parents, Alex. You're letting that ex-wife poison you against your own blood? Your sister is crying. Your father is devastated. Funny, I thought. He hasn't said a word. A week passed. Then another. Nothing changed. Except me. I started taking the long way home from work. Not because I was avoiding anything, but because I could. I didn't have to rush to anyone's crisis. Didn't have to check in. Didn't have to pay for someone else's emergency. It felt like coming up for air after a lifetime underwater. One afternoon, I ran into Marissa in a coffee shop. We sat down and talked for 2 hours. She told me how she started over. Therapy. Boundaries. A new city. A tiny studio apartment she loved more than the mansion she left. She looked peaceful. I thought I needed closure, she said, sipping her chai. But turns out, I just needed distance. I asked her if that ever felt lonely. All the time, she said. But it's a good kind of lonely. A quiet kind. Like no one's draining me anymore. I knew exactly what she meant. That night, I opened a new savings account. I named it Life After. And for the first time in a decade, I deposited money into something that was mine. Only mine. 2 weeks after I sent the invoice, a thick manila envelope arrived at my door. No return address. Inside was a handwritten note from my father. His handwriting was shaky, uneven, like he hadn't picked up a pen in years. Alex, I don't agree with how you're going about this. I don't think money should come between family. That said, I can't stop your mother or your sister from making their choices. I hope you'll reconsider. Dad. There was no check, no offer, no plan, just a quiet guilt bomb wrapped in cursive. I read it once, then put it in a drawer next to my old nursing school ID and a cracked photo of me and Kayla at the lake house. I didn't respond. A few days later, Kayla left a voicemail. Her voice was thick with rehearsed emotion. If you needed money that badly, you could have just said something. But sending an invoice? That's cold. You think this is about cash? It's not. It's about trust. And you broke it. She paused, like she was about to cry. I talked to Mom. We're all just disappointed. That's all. You're not the person we thought you were. She hung up. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so on brand. Even now, I was the villain. I didn't respond to her either. Instead, I printed out my spreadsheet and brought it to therapy. My therapist looked at it carefully. Then at me. Did it help? She asked. Yes, I said. But not in the way I thought. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about telling the truth out loud. About creating a record. A map of the ways I'd been erased. That night, I got dinner with Leah. She was someone I'd met on a bike trail, of all places. We started chatting after we both narrowly avoided a squirrel and crashed into the same patch of grass. She was soft-spoken, sarcastic, kind. She didn't ask invasive questions. Didn't rush me. She let me talk in fragments and filled in the silence with easy laughter and shared fries. At dinner, she reached across the table and touched my wrist. You don't owe them softness, she said. You already gave them your whole life. The words hit somewhere deep. The next morning, I donated $100 to a nursing student GoFundMe I saw online. She reminded me of myself, juggling shifts, trying to keep her head above water. It felt good. Better than good. Like reclaiming something I didn't know I'd lost. A week later, a response came. Not from my mom. Not from Kayla. From Derek. An email. Short. Blunt. I don't have that kind of money. None of us do. But you made your point. Hope you feel better now. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. That same day, I got a letter from the hospital. I'd been approved for a mentorship program. A small stipend, plus 3 days off per month to help train new nurses. When I read it, I cried for the first time in weeks. Not out of pain, but release. The world was getting bigger again, and none of them were in it. I moved out of my apartment in March. It wasn't glamorous, a one-bedroom with peeling cabinets and creaky floors, but it was mine. Fully mine. No hand-me-downs. No extra keys for just-in-case family visits. No shared accounts. I changed my number. Took my name off the family phone plan. Canceled the auto pay on my dad's insurance. I cut the last wire. At first, it was disorienting. Quiet. Too quiet. There were moments I almost broke. Like when I caught the flu and instinctively reached for my phone to call my mom. Or when I got promoted to lead night shift and had no one to tell. But then I'd remember the voicemail. The way Kayla said, "You're not the person we thought you were." And I'd smile. Because she was right. The person they thought I was, always available, always bending, always broke, doesn't exist anymore. Leah came over one night with Thai takeout and a jigsaw puzzle shaped like a galaxy. We sat on the floor, eating spring rolls and talking about nothing. And for once, nothing felt like enough. She asked if I missed them. I told her the truth. I missed the idea of them. The version of family I thought I had. But not the real one. A month later, I got a letter from Kayla. Not an apology. A request. "Mom's having a rough time. She misses you. We all do. Maybe we can meet for lunch?" No drama. Just talk. There was a PS. "Also, you might want to check your mail soon." I didn't reply. I didn't plan to. But a week later, I found a certified envelope in my mailbox. Inside was a check, made out to me, for the full amount, $18,462.39. No note. No apology. Just a transaction. I stared at it for a long time. Then I opened my laptop, logged into the scholarship fund for underprivileged nursing students at my hospital, and clicked Donate. I added a note. "For the ones who are always helping everyone else. You deserve someone to help you back." I kept $39. Just enough to buy a new pair of scrubs and a coffee for Leah. That weekend, we rode our bikes to the lake. The air smelled like grass and clean sweat. We didn't talk much. We didn't have to. I thought about my family. About what they must be saying. About the spin they're probably giving this. She turned her back on us. She thinks she's better. She's not the same anymore. And they'd be right. I'm not. I'm freer. Lighter. And for the first time in my life, I'm choosing myself without guilt. The closure didn't come from them. It came from within. And that's the kind that sticks. I thought the check would be the end of it. It wasn't. A few weeks after I donated the money, I got another voicemail. This time, from my mother. Her voice was soft, carefully rehearsed. Like she was trying out a new role, the peacemaker. "Hi, sweetheart. We heard you gave the money away. That was unexpected, but very generous of you. Maybe too generous. Anyway, we're all back now. Things have calmed down. Maybe we can sit down and talk, now that the dust has settled. It's time to come home." Come home. As if home was still something that existed between us. I didn't respond. Instead, I went to my weekly therapy session, biked 6 miles along the river, and read a book on the bench where Leah and I first shared a sandwich and argued about whether soup counts as a meal. The next day, another message came in. "Kayla again. Okay, we get it. You've moved on. You made your point. But just so you know, Mom hasn't stopped crying since you ghosted us. And Dad's blood pressure is through the roof. If anything happens to them, that's on you." There it was again. The same old script. When in doubt, weaponize guilt. Only this time, it bounced right off me. I didn't feel the familiar sting in my chest. No nausea. No panic. Just a flat, calm stillness. I didn't reply. And slowly, the messages stopped. Not because they understood, but because they realized I wouldn't play anymore. I wasn't their nurse, their bank, their fixer, or their emotional sponge. I was just me. Living. Breathing. Free. That summer, I volunteered to help lead a wellness program for new nurses. A quiet girl named Bree approached me after a group session and said, "I don't have anyone. My family doesn't really get it." I handed her a sticky note with a quote I keep on my fridge. "Family is not who demands you shrink for their comfort. Family is who sees your wholeness and stands beside it." She smiled through tears and hugged me. Later that week, Leah and I went to a street fair. We danced terribly, drank too much bubble tea, and I let her braid ribbons into my hair. I never would have allowed that a year ago. Now it felt like freedom. Sometimes, I still grieve the version of family I never had. But grief is not a weakness. It's the evidence of love, misplaced but real. And healing isn't loud. It's quiet. It's canceling a family plan. It's biking on a Sunday. It's turning off your phone and sleeping through the night. It's peace. Earned. I don't need their forgiveness. Or their approval. I built something better. Not a happy ending, but a true one. And for me, that's enough.